Today, we have more artists than record labels. We have more artists than listeners today. Everybody's an artist, right? And everybody wants to be heard at the same time.
I tell people, get a lawyer, pay a lawyer. Don't get a team and get a lawyer. Get a lawyer and get a team.
First of all, I feel really honored to be among this panel.
I'm honored to have you among.
I appreciate that. So, first of all, I'd like to point something out, that this is actually a representation of what the industry currently is like. I've been trying to scan around the room and I'm seeing just a few ladies around. And big shout out to you guys who are actually here. Right? You are 2 in 1, or if not more, an army. Amazing. Okay, now back to your question, right? I would agree with you that it's been crazy. And I was talking to a few artists as a couple of days ago when we just completed our event. I said, today we have more artists than record labels. We have more artists than listeners today. Everybody's an artist, right? And everybody wants to be heard at the same time. And I'll still keep saying it, the biggest tool that you have is your branding and social media. There are thousands of artists on Spotify. How many of us really actually go to just go and search for new artists on Spotify? You can just wave your hands if you ever do that. Just a few hands. It's just like, okay, let me go and look for a new artist. Or you actually go to that Afrobeats playlist and go and listen to your big 3. Right? So oftentimes I would advise any artist, harness social media like never before. Because you probably have like 100 followers. Don't joke with those 100. Because when one person is listening to you, that other person likes your jam and is able to refer you to someone else to go and listen to. And people like that. So I will tell you, use social media like never before and don't be relentless on it. Even if you're having 2, 5 views, 10 views today, you might just wake up one morning and you're seeing 10,000 views, 100,000 views. We know how these stories happen. So social media is that game changer.
Have access to, or the quality of team that you can afford varies depending on your circumstances. But everybody needs a team. Sometimes it's expedient that you have a 2-man team. Sometimes it's actually a 1-man team. Because I use this line very often. I say everything begins with a conversation. A conversation sometimes with self, a conversation with somebody else, a sounding board, and a conversation with people in a larger room. Now, why is it absolutely necessary to have a team? It's because there's music, 2 clear divides. There's music as art and music as business, as a product. The minute you move creativity to a commercial space, the dynamics change, right? So we have to piggyback on what the background of Michael's tried to create it, where music was an integral part of our social experience, not necessarily a standalone. You have a child, there's music. The people are having a marriage ceremony, there's music. Someone dies, there's a burial ceremony, there's music. You're in a bad mood, there's music. You are happy, you're celebrating, there's music, right? So you have a system where music is an integral part of the human experience, particularly in African societies. Now, once you isolate that music standalone, and you engage in an intentional commercial exercise to make it available for consumption, whether it's before 5 people or 5 million people, and there's a process of monetization where this live performance or this recorded music is the experience is shared to a bunch of people who are supposed to access it either by way of a gate fee, a ticket, or some online subscription, or they're buying physical copies of the cassette, of the vinyl, right? So it's absolutely impossible to process, package, market, brand sell it, art as a commodity, I tell people, get a lawyer, pay a lawyer. Don't get a team and get a lawyer. Get a lawyer and get a team. Pay a lawyer. You pay for your flight t-shirts, you pay for data for your phone, you pay for everything else. We cannot grow a community of creatives who assume that legal fees or engaging lawyers or consultants is, this way. They pay for everything. They pay for studio sessions. They pay for producers. They pay for bling. They pay for fake fans. They pay for followers. They pay for everything.
Couple of different packages that we give to potential clients when they come. So when young folks or young persons, so when artists generally come, one of those things that we have structured is to understand that apart from the general legal fees that we give to the big guys, we tend to sit down and say, okay, this is what we do for this kind of work, but for you, this is what we want to do. And if you cannot pay this amount of money, we can also structure it in a way that, okay, percentage billing, in the sense that at this particular time, we can charge you this amount of money. So we are entering the transaction on the basis of, okay, when we do this and this come in, we charge this amount of money. So sometimes it is success based, sometimes it is not, sometimes it's level based, such that at the end of this particular transaction you are giving us this. But the truth is that many people will come out and say, okay, I don't know how much I'm going to make from this, so I cannot guarantee you.
We actually harnessed the social media. We properly registered all our songs, as big as they were, for user-generated content.
We?
Premier Records,
Okay.
That's what I mean, sorry. We made sure we registered all the songs properly on all social media platforms as user-generated contents, UGC. If you don't do that, nobody would even want to go and look for it, because it is the music that is available on those platforms that they will use. And you might just be lucky that somebody picked your song and does something fantastic with it and it goes viral worldwide. And that is exactly what happened. And today everybody is talking about go, 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 go. For over 40 years after. So that is the power of social media. And you need to understand that as an artist, that is the tool you have now. In the 40s and 50s, the tool they had was that they had hotels that they went to perform. So you would see them moving from one hotel to another. They will stay in Warri for 2 months. After that, they go to Onitsha, stay for 3 months. After that, they go to Port Harcourt, stay for another 3 months. That was how they were moving, because that was the structure they had to sell themselves then. But today, it's a different thing altogether. Technology has simplified everything. So you must be able to take that advantage and make very good use of it, because you might think it's not working, but just one single thing like that and you're off.
Okay, so just like I mentioned in the event that we had, right, the music industry today is an ecosystem flowing with cash, flowing with money. And as an artist, do not stick to just streaming revenue, to be very honest. There's just little money coming from streaming. As an artist, you can do songwriting, like I said, background vocals. You can also pitch your music for sync licensing, especially in movies, music, video games, and stuff like that. Those are the things. And also live performances at different events, and pitching to clubs and the likes, of course. Before I can bring an artist on board to say, okay, I want to sponsor or partner with you, I need to see what you've done, right? And I need to see the kind of people that you pull. So it's important that you already have a very strong convertible economy before any brand wants to put their money into you, because brands are looking to make money back, right? Not just put our money there for charity.
Okay, so it's quite simple. You cannot claim what you do not own. You understand? There's a difference between Afrobeat and Afrobeats.
Okay.
Afrobeat is our own. It's Nigerian owned. Afrobeat is a story told from the outside perspective for us. So we need to understand that difference. Afrobeat is big now, but like I've always said, Afrobeat is beat. Afrobeat is a genre of music owned by Nigerians. You understand? So for us to continue to own what we have, we need to own Afrobeat and then start telling our own story of Afrobeat and not let others tell us what our story is. So there's a big difference, and we need to understand that. We need to own what we have and not own the story that is being told to us by outsiders, and then we interpret it in our music and it becomes a beat. That is not our story. So that's how we can own it and continue to own it. Afrobeat has been there for over 40, 50 years, really. But it's our story. So we need to change this narrative and tell our story.